in to Athletics LLC with Lamar, Lucius, Big League Chew, and my man Clyde, and the governor. You're about to be schooled in all things track and field. This is experience. Yes, sir. We are talking past, present, future. Y'all listen up. Let's go.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I want to welcome you to this week's version of the Athletics LLC. Hope everybody has had a wonderful week and is ripping and roaring for some more LLC shenanigans, as we like to call them. How's everybody doing? Everybody good out there? You guys good? I know it's Clyde's on the other side of the world somewhere. So
it's 4 a.m. I'm in Italy. I'm great.
Okay, so we're going to jump right in. So let's talk GOAT Sprinter, 100 through 400. There's been a lot of different metrics used to calculate this. You know, the IAAF scoring tables. People have added the 3 times together, you know, stuff like that. In your opinion, based on the ability to run all 3 races, who is your GOAT for men and women? This is not necessarily about championships, because nobody runs all 3 in the championships, but some of them have. So what you got? We're going to start with the...
It's a very loaded question.
It is. We'll start with the thoughtful one of Mr. Street Thompson, the governor himself.
So...
And remember, we get one for men and for women, and so whichever one you choose first, we'll do that one, and we'll come back for the other one. So you pick one, and we'll go from there.
So there's so many different ways you can, you know, square this. And what stands out to me is, you know, recently we saw this post where they took the 100, 200, 400 for Michael Johnson, Van Niekerk, Norman, Curley, Bolt, Gay, you know, and basically added up the times and, you know, did the average, whatever, to see what the lowest average was. That's all well and good. The thing about track and field that makes it so special is that it is extremely difficult to do all 3 consistently. It is very, very difficult to train for the 400, but yet be an Olympian in the 100. Like, it's very hard. So for me, you know, there's a lot of what ifs. There's a lot of what ifs. You know, we talk about Michael Johnson and how he just could not stay healthy every time he attempted to run the 100. His body just could not handle those speeds. And so, you know, the one blemish, if you might say, on his record is that he never broke 10 seconds. You know, he got to 10:09 and that was all his body was willing to give, right? So I look at it the opposite way. And the what if is, what if Bolt had taken a year to run the quarter? How fast could he have run? And that's the part where, you know, when you delve into his history and you hear, you know, how, you know, his coach actually called him lazy. Like, there, you know, he was not the quintessential, you know, guy who went at it every day in practice, that sort of thing. So when I look at that, and you add in the fact that this man has the fastest 100 and 200 meter times in history, and you have that what if that's sitting out there, Bolt is my GOAT sprinter. He is my GOAT sprinter.
And what's his 400 PB?
His 400 PB is 45:28.
Okay.
But I think everybody on this panel knows, you know, that if he actually applied himself and if he actually was okay with dealing with the pain, God knows what he would have run. So that, leaving that out there, having witnessed this man in real life and what he did in Berlin, I cannot get that out of my head. He is my GOAT sprinter.
Okay. Early and often, what you got?
Oh, there's a lot of guys. I think I don't listen, I really like my answer. I just feel like I'm concerned that it's recency bias, but I don't think it is, but I'm concerned that it is. I'm gonna pick Fred. And I'm gonna pick Fred because I think the 200 hasn't been what it can be and will be, but I think when it's all said and done, the three combined are going to be, I never say untouchable by anybody, but when we're in the 9.7s and the 43s, I feel like the 19 in the middles is without question coming. But like I said, I picked the guy because I think that's the right answer, but it's not above reproach, if that makes any sense. Like I could make a counter argument, but I'm picking Fred.
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking Fred only because I fully expect the 19 in the middle at some point, be it this year or next, out of Fred. But we'll see. I mean, he also changed coaches, so I could really look stupid. But based on the numbers he has produced and the way he has produced them, I would pick Fred.
Okay, KOP.
I'm not sure if it's because it's 4 o'clock in the morning, but I just want to say I don't like this question.
Good. It's a really hard question, right? Because nobody
really hard question.
Nobody races all three.
All three.
Fred's the only one who has legitimately raced all three, but he's barely raced the 200.
Yeah.
Right. So
there are holes in all the stories. Holes.
Oh, sure. There's holes in all of it. So since there's holes in all of it, since any male you throw out there, I could argue has a fatal flaw in this equation. I'm going to attempt to break down how I got here. First of all, looking at the 100, I think Michael Johnson's no sub 10s is disqualifying. It's a big outlier in the group. Then I ask myself, where are the world records? Well, none of the men in true consideration of this, and so there's a list if you haven't seen it for the public. KST can send it to you, but this is a Googleable thing. The people who are by the numbers, just the raw numbers on this, are Michael Johnson 1, Van Niekerk 2, Norman 3, Curly 4, Bolt 5, Tyson Gay 6. Some people I've seen throw Maurice Green into this argument, right? So for me, I start asking, where are the world records? Well, Michael Johnson had 2 world records, all right, 200, 400. Bolt has 2 world records, 100, 200. So then in that example, I'm like, which one is more impressive? I would lean towards Bolt over Michael Johnson in this argument because I think Bolt's lazy 400 is more impressive than Mike trying to run the 100 and not being able to break 10, which he obviously did try. But there's another.
He tried once.
Hey.
Mike went to USA's and ran 3 rounds of 100. That was it.
Let him finish, please. Let him finish.
Hey,
please.
man.
I'm giving facts and context. Is all I'm
I
doing.
hear you.
We'll let you get. We'll do retorts in a minute.
There's another fact and context in here, and that Michael Johnson lost one of his world records to Wade Van Niekerk. So, who is currently still the world record holder?
Yes.
So to me, I break this up, if you will. You have to have a world record for me to say your name. You have to have a gold medal for me to say your name. Fred has one in the 100, but he doesn't have any world records. And so for me, that all time in a group of men that have world records, I can't go there. So if you want to be a numbers nerd, I would give it to Van Niekerk overall, but I am with the governor. I think it's Bolt.
I thought the governor said it was Michael. Or you said it was
No. If you run the calculations, Michael sits at the top of the number.
I was asking what.
Bolt.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, all right. So I don't know how you discount MJ. I mean, his world records have been broken, right? But like the man was 19-3 and 43.
18.
Without
18. 43-18, and he limped to 10-0. His dominance over his career in the 2 and the 4. I mean, so for me, like, okay, if you take he and Michael's 200s, they're close, right? If you take their 100s, obviously there's a big disparity, but then there's the same disparity between Michael's 400 and Bolt's 400.
Right.
So for me, they're the same guy, right? And I just think Michael, I don't know, Michael's dominance, not that Bolt wasn't dominant, obviously he was, but Bolt didn't race much as people thought he did. I mean, he showed up at the championships and got it done. I think Michael raced a little bit more on the circuit than Bolt did because, but for whatever reasons. So for me, it's Michael. It's Michael.
May I ask you a legitimate question? I'm not even trying to be petty, but it's going to sound like a petty question. If you look at Michael Johnson's career, you can obviously point to dominance. And there aren't very many people that dominated in their career, in their time, like Michael Johnson did. I don't remember Michael Johnson doing no triple. So if dominance is important, Bolt was far more dominant than Michael Johnson ever was.
In your opinion, not in mine.
He went 3 for 3 in the Olympics.
In your opinion.
This is all opinion based.
It's opinion based. In my opinion. Okay, so here's my thing. Okay. Like, Michael never went 3 for 3 in 3 straight Olympics. No, he did not. But Michael did go 3 for 3 at least once, maybe twice. He did it at World Championships. Exactly. And so I am not, this is in no way a disparaging or to put down a Bolt. Because I happen to be a fan of the 4 and the 2. That's what I do. And because of my fandom in that, Michael's my guy. It's not a debate. It's an opinion-based thing. Right now, I will never see. I think Wade, for me, is kind of like Aries, right? He had a couple of seasons, right? There's no longevity there. I think the guy that kind of gets missed out here is Tyson.
Absolutely.
Because Tyson has the, what was the guy that was Mickelson, right? We'll never know how good Mickelson was because of Tiger. And we'll never know how good Gay was because of Bolt, right? So, and I'm sorry, early and often, what were you trying to say, sir?
Well, I just also wanted to say that, I mean, listen, I'm never going to say any of this is easy, but the 1-2 4x1 triple is 5,000,000% easier than the 4-2 4x4 triple.
Without
not to mention, and this is the part I will never not mention.
Might drop the mic on this one.
When we competed, it was 4 rounds of the 4 and 4 rounds of the 2. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to ever say that
3 rounds of the 4x4.
Right. I'm not going to ever say that like one was easier or harder or this and that, but I'm going to say this. For Mike to run 4 rounds of the 4 and then 4 rounds of the 2 and break the world record in the 2, I will give him a pass for being like, nah, y'all can have the 4x4. I'm good. And the fact that he did do that at Worlds twice is still insane to me. So, but remember, I didn't pick Mike. I'm just saying for context.
No, you didn't.
I know, but I because, and I told you why I picked.
You picked Curly.
Exactly, but again, because the question was, who do I think is the best best sprinter of all three, right? And so like in that context, that's what I chose. But all I'm saying is I think sometimes people, when they're comparing people from eras, they don't like they context matters, right? So running 4 rounds of the 4 and 4 rounds of the 2 is more difficult than 3 rounds of the 2 and 3 rounds of the 4, or 3 rounds of the 1 and 3 rounds of the 2, right? But it is what it is. You do what you do in your era. It's like Mike doesn't get bonus points for me for that, but it is still relevant for context. Anyway, let's go to the women. Are we on, Governor? Are you switching orders?
No,
So
it's on you. No, actually,
It's on me.
KOP.
Wait,
Given
before
the argument,
you do that, check. I'm going to send something to everybody so we
go for it,
can properly suss this out.
because I can't wait to hear this.
All right. All right, here we go. Feast your eyes on that.
Yep.
Okay, what's your answer?
That's my answer is that this is really, really funny.
Yep.
So,
oh, you're forgetting one.
You're definitely forgetting one.
Well,
oh yes, I am
one.
forgetting.
You're
one.
Forgetting Marion and Kratok.
Yes.
Can you stick them both in there?
I will.
Oh, then you're forgetting 3.
I mean, this list is insane. It's just absolutely insane.
Okay, so given
So can we get to the topic?
yeah. So
yes.
given the shenanigans that were just sent to us, and given the shenanigans that are going to be continued to be sent to us.
Oh, Allison, I knew those.
Thank you. The answer to this question is Allison Felix. Now, interestingly enough, Miss Shericka Jackson is a few awards away from, I think, putting herself in a serious debate for that, given her range. But she has to win more things first. And Allison, gold in the 4, gold in the 2, and 5th place at the Olympics in the 100. It's Allison Felix.
Okay. Early and often?
I want to say Armila Kratok-Vilova just so I can watch Chuck's head split open, but I will never do that.
You can pick the druggies if you want. There's plenty to choose from. Pick your favorite.
Anyway, I am without question not here for that nonsense tonight. It's so hard because for me it comes down to Allison and Shericka, and the hardest part for me is, as Clyde said, like Allison's whole career is finished, right? Shericka's got another chapter or 2, right? So we don't know what, because the thing is, she could easily, after 24, decide she's gonna go run the 4 and run 47 seconds at some point, if that's what Sisho chooses. So I think I'm gonna pick Allison because it's on paper and it's done. But I would be 0% surprised of when this is all said and done if Shericka doesn't have a 10:50 something PB, the world record in the 200, and a sub 49 second 400, in which case we're not having this conversation anymore. But it hasn't happened yet. And so I'm going to go with sub 11, sub 22, and sub 49.
Real quick question for you, because we are in total agreement on the marks that you just threw out that could be. If she does that without winning, does that make a difference?
The GOAT sprinter.
So maybe I misunderstood the question, right?
No, you did misunderstand the question because the winning
because this
is
isn't
not
about.
It's not
No,
about
I'm asking if winning matters to him.
Right. So what I'm saying is,
right.
The way I interpreted the question was literally the best sprinter, not who I thought was the most decorated.
Resume by numbers.
Right. It was so I'm saying I'm answering based on resume by numbers and ceiling of 1, 2, 4.
Fair enough. I'm
Because
just
because obviously
Right.
I would never have picked Fred.
Yeah.
All right, Governor, what do you got?
I mean, it's still extremely jarring to see it in front of you and you realize just how insanely talented these women are. And man, I mean, how can you not look at, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, look,
Well, there's another
Allison
one missing.
Felix.
What are Shaunae's PBs?
Oh
Okay,
Lord.
all right. So
It's just a question. I'm sorry. I'm not
Yeah,
trying to.
can we
yeah.
let the governor answer the question?
So
I mean, I know he's run around the block twice already, but
yeah,
let's finally we'll get to it.
yeah. Um, I I cannot deny what FloJo did in her career. I cannot. I can't. You know, and again, throw the what ifs in the air, whatever. I mean, my GOAT sprinter is FloJo. And until we get the answers or whatever, if we never get the answers in our lifetime, again, I'm going by my eyes and what I saw. I will never forget that anchor leg she ran, and golly, man, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with.
That's for me. I mean, there's a lot of people like we haven't mentioned. We haven't mentioned Shawnee. We haven't mentioned Gwen Torrance. Haven't mentioned Evelyn Ashford. I mean, there's a
Oh
lot of
man.
women that have really had phenomenal careers. Valerie Briscoe Hooks, Chandra Cheeseborough. You know, see, I'm old. These people pop in my head. But I mean, for me, it's Sharika Jackson. I mean,
Oh, okay.
she's 10-7. She's 21-4.
65.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
65.
Oh, huh?
1065.
Okay. Well, 10-65,
Yeah.
21-4,
Mhm.
and she ran 49-6 like 5 years ago, right? So it's kind of like the same thing you talk about with Bolt. I mean, what could she run a 400? And
Yeah.
she went and ran one now. And I think that at some point in time she's going to come back and run 48 seconds. But
I
I
think
mean,
that
she's been a world stage finalist. If we're talking about awards, she's medaled in the 1 and the 2 on the world stage. I think she medaled in the 4 as well. Actually, I know she's made a final in the 4. You know, she's run a leg on relays and all the other stuff that everybody else has done. I just think for me, watching her transform over the last 4 or 5 years has been phenomenal. And
Mhm.
I think when it's all said and done, she's going to be my GOAT. She is. She's kind of special.
I honestly, I would give it to Sharika right now if she had that 100-meter gold.
Yeah.
That's for me.
Mhm.
Right.
and look, I want to say this for posterity's sake, so that I want all our fan base to understand something. Statistically, the best 3 sprinter marks are without question Marita Koch.
Mhm.
1074, 2164, and 4760. Okay. Obviously, none of us picked her for a lot of reasons.
Just
But
one.
I don't
Just
know.
one.
Because actually, to me, there's a lot. Because she didn't win that many things either. Right.
Mhm.
But all I'm saying is, I want our fan base to understand, like, we know everybody we're talking about.
Yep.
Right. Like, we didn't like, for me, I didn't disqualify the druggies. I just picked one over them. And at the end of the day, that's kind of what it is. But
Okay.
you run under 11, under 22, and under 48.
Yeah.
You're probably on drugs.
Okay. So anyway, let's talk NCAA track and field. There's always talk of fixing the sport. There's the complaints about indoors and qualifying, outdoors and qualifying, and exclusivity, and all the other things that are talked about. So let's talk about what's wrong with our sport at the NCAA level. And if you think something's wrong, tell me how you're going to fix it. and easy, early and often. I'm sorry.
Oh,
He's gonna have like 50 things. Can I just
you
give you one
know,
simple one?
No, nope, not your turn.
what's wrong with the NCAA is too long to give an answer. So I'll just pick what I'll start with. I think that the portal is a really good idea and necessary, but I think it needs some pretty substantial tweaks. Because we're on a
So so
slippery.
so so let me say this. Okay, so I'm talking about the NCAA meet.
Okay, so I didn't know
Track and
that.
field. The
Oh,
meet.
that was
Yeah,
unclear.
Yeah.
That
right.
was
Okay, so
unclear.
I
Okay,
know,
so
I know.
will you restate the
That's
question
why
once, and then I'll give you an
okay,
answer.
so because that's why I said, the qualifying and all that stuff. I'm talking about the meet, the qualifying process for nationals. Like, what's wrong with our sport in terms of that stuff? No, but
Okay.
put
I
your
just want
fingernails.
you to know
No,
that my one answer I was gonna give you was already in that space.
Well, good.
okay.
That's
Well,
good.
anyway, okay,
Um,
good.
I think the one really problematic thing, because I think indoors is fine. Like, I don't want to change a thing about indoors. I mean, if I'm gonna be honest, I don't want to change one thing, except maybe make more people. But I don't. But if in order to have the meet go the same way as it is, and I had to have 16, I'll live with it. Outdoors, I don't even have a problem with the regional qualifying anymore, which I know is called first round. Fine. But my issue is seeding um the final site directly from the times done at the two regionals. I don't like that because, as we have seen for sure in the last couple of years, weather plays a huge role in what lanes you get at the final site, and that doesn't make any sense to me. Right? Like, if I compete in the meet in California and it's hot and sunny, and I compete in the meet in Florida and it's cool and rainy, right? Like, I don't want my lane assignments at the final site.
But your lane assignments are dictated just as much by place as they are by times.
It doesn't. It doesn't matter. They're dictated
Oh,
by
that's a very important distinction, sir.
yes, but they're still dictated by weather as much as anything.
Okay.
And I just don't want it. That's all I'm saying.
All right, so how do you fix it?
Right.
I would use season best performances
Oh, wow.
for seeding. For seeding, meaning you're gonna go by places, right? Look, I get that. That's how you get to the meet. But what you've done for the whole season should matter at some level. It should definitely matter more than that one meet.
Okay, wait. Now I have
on 2 different
questions.
sides of the country. Wait,
I'm so confused. I'm so confused by what you just said. So you're telling me that we take the 48 and we go east and west. We run the preliminary round. We run the quarterfinal round. How you advance is dictated by the place that you get, not the time. And after you qualify for the 12, you want then to go back to the list to see the semifinals? The whole idea of the region is about head-to-head competition. So if you are the big Q,
how do we have head-to-head competition when half the people in the field and half the people in the field never face each other?
Because the semifinals don't work that way. You advance to the semifinals, big Q and little Q.
Okay.
So anyway. So my just to clarify. So you're saying that if you're the 12th guy in the East prelim in the 100, and you have the best seat, the fastest season's best, you now become the number 1 seed coming out of the East. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
But you just lost head to head to the people in the East.
Hold on. That's it. Okay.
Answer, right?
Okay. Hold on. Okay. That's his answer. Okay. KOP, what you got?
You don't have to like my answer.
I don't. Your answer sucks.
Okay.
The biggest problem with the advancement qualification, and for me, the only true thing that absolutely must and should immediately be changed, is that the NCAA should be paying for the first round of their championship.
That doesn't help the sport, does it?
No, yes, it does. It helps the sport immensely. It helps the sport immensely.
For the record, but my answer sucks.
No, your answer absolutely sucked. You want
Okay,
your
all right,
answer is
Governor,
reversing the spirit of the
help,
competition
Governor,
that
help
you
us
are
here.
in the middle
Help
of.
us here.
I
'Cause I'm
went to
not.
the round, I finished 12th, but because I ran fast at the Texas relays with a 3.9 wind, because you know those count, right? Now all of a sudden I'm the #1 seed and I just lost to all these people head to head. The hell out of here.
Okay.
All right, so Governor, what you got?
Oh man. The issue I have, and we really saw it come to the fore last year. And KOP can confirm this. When you run the meet at the same time,
Yes.
okay, you have the time schedule on the East Coast and the West Coast.
Yes.
There is now you're running into a lot of issues from the standpoint of where you're actually having the meet. And I'm not saying that it's one has an advantage over the other, but there is something to be said for having the same meet at the same time, regardless of the time zones.
Well, they don't start
Oh, wait,
exactly the same time. They're just in the same time frame. So
Yes.
if we start at 4 o'clock in the East and y'all start at 4 o'clock in the West. Right?
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
wait, are you arguing that you're in favor of that?
No. I'm
Okay.
saying so let's take what happened in Sacramento. Okay.
Yes.
It was evident to all of us coaches that the folks in the long jump, for example, that started at 5 had a distinct advantage over the 3rd and 4th rounds. Things got really, I mean, the temperature dropped at least 15 degrees within 30 minutes.
That's right.
Okay. So you have to know the nature of the beast, is what I'm saying. We've competed in Sacramento in the morning. We've had NCAA meets because of TV in the morning on the West Coast. We had all day in Sacramento to run the meet.
Yes, we did.
Okay. So I'm speaking from the standpoint of, are you giving the athletes the best opportunity to compete, best conditions, that sort of thing? And it's not that, so can there be a little bit of, what's the word? Can we not be as strict with the timing? Can we actually think about where we are in this country and while we're holding the meet at this place before we put these schedules together? And that's
we had a
Go ahead.
we had a similar argument, if you will, during our Mountain West coach's call, right? Protocol calls. And the term I use is just, I want the meet management to be able to have the flexibility to be intelligent.
Yes.
There is a absolute difference between a meet held in Sacramento, California during that time of year and, North Florida or Indiana for that matter.
Yep.
And that is an excellent point, and I agree with that. Mr. Host, Sir Lucius, my answer wasn't my real one. Here's my real answer. I think you'll like it. And it's for indoor. The 200 and the 400 meters indoors should be seeded based on time. If you're the number 12 qualifier, or the number 16 qualifier, your ass belongs in lane 3. And so does number 15, and so does number 14, and so does number 13 in the semifinal race, since there are 4 heats. Not my problem. You had a whole season. There is no 2 other rounds before that. You had a whole season. You're the bottom 4. You take your ass out there, you run in lane 3, and you get it how you live. I got no problem with that indoors because there's no preliminary rounds.
Well,
but outdoors, where you are meant to race your way in,
yep.
if you raced Kareem and you got 12th, that's a
Mhm.
you problem, my guy.
Mhm.
Well, and
I
then the
mean,
other issue is the same thing with the first round, especially in the relays. If you are the best relay team in the country, you go to the preliminary round, which is the quarterfinal,
right?
and you're in
Yeah.
lane one. That's not right.
That's not right.
Not
No,
right.
yeah, those
Yeah.
should be seeded as well.
Yeah.
Seed,
Right.
seed the first time everybody steps on the track,
Yep.
seed it.
Yeah.
Yes, so I
And we
think
go
that,
from
over time, there's always been people trying to find creative ways to be more competitive.
Right.
And that's not the way to be more competitive. I actually had a distance coach say to me, well, it's not fair for a guy to go to New Mexico in January and run 2060 and run no faster the rest of the year. But it's okay for so-and-so to go run 357 or 356 and not run faster the rest of the year. Like,
Mhm.
I don't get it. Like, there's no equality there. Like, there's no disadvantage in the mile because they all line up. It's waterfall, right? So for
Mhm.
me, it's the seating procedures. For me, I mean, I've never been a big fan of the meet, but it's here. It's not going anywhere, so we have to deal with it. But I think that, I mean, if you're trying to improve the sport, like run the meet in California when it's conducive for better crowds in California,
Mhm.
because it gets chilly
Yeah.
in Sacramento, right?
Yep.
So people are not coming out there. But if you run it earlier in the day,
Mhm.
they will. Same thing in Jacksonville. We sit around all day and we wait for it to rain
Yeah.
because it's going to rain, right? It's going to rain. We're right there on the water. It's going to rain. So I
Yeah.
think that's meat management is definitely a thing, and I think that there's just always this talk about we got to find a way to get better. We want to compare ourselves to football, basketball, baseball. We're just different, and we're not going to get better by adding an indoor prelim. That's not the answer.
No.
We're not going to get better because all you're going to do by adding an indoor prelim, because then you're going to add more athletes. You're going to get the same schools who have the athletes are going to get more athletes now. You're going to get that special story every now and then, but you're not going to get this more of the little guys not making it to the
There'll
meet,
be
just more
less
of the day.
parity. There'll be less
Exactly.
parity.
Exactly. So the richer will just simply get richer. And I think for me also, when it comes to the outdoor championships, we need to do a better job of um, packaging the outside stories. Like, it's not just about the 4x1, the 4x4s, and the sprinters. We got to. I don't think they do a very good job of covering the multis. We've had some great young multis over the last few
Mhm.
years.
Mhm.
Hardly anybody knows. There's been some great. I mean, there was a great jump competition last year, men and women. And there was just a brief. Oh, look, so and so jumped this far. I mean, Jasmine Board breaks a collegiate record, and nobody knew.
Yeah.
So I think the packaging of and how we tell our story would make our sport a lot better if we would just take the time to do so.
Well, they keep trying to package it as if it's only a team sport, and it just isn't.
Right.
Our sport is
Well,
just not
right.
only a team sport.
Yeah. See, the thing is like, but the team aspect of it is what sells. The team aspect of it is what people want to see. People want to see that who's going to win the meet, and I have no problem with that. But part of that story is what's going on. Like, to see if there's like this big deal made of the discus, right? That's a great story, but it's a better story if you see it live versus somebody telling you about it 15 minutes later.
Right.
Sir
You know
Lucius,
what I'm saying?
I need to ask you a question, and I'm asking you this because if there's an answer, I would expect you to know it, but I don't think there's an answer. You just said something that people say all the time. The team narrative, that's where the money is, right?
No, that's not where the money is. That's what the people want to know about. They want to.
Okay.
Right.
Is there
Right.
any proof that covering the meet from the team aspect point of view drives higher ratings? Because I don't believe that there is.
No, I don't know that I can't tell you. I mean, I'm just talking about from like what I like. Like, I'll just give you an example. Like, we would go to a meet, and my mom would always ask me, "Well, who won?"
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, what's the
Right.
score? So from that aspect, I'm just talking about from questions people have asked me. But see, I don't think track and field people watch because of the team thing.
No.
I think
They
they watch it
absolutely don't.
because they're track and field people. Like, I've
Yeah.
always said
Yeah.
this. it's the moms, the dads, the brothers, the sisters, the girlfriends, the boyfriends, grandma, grandpa. That's track and field fans, right? There's no such thing, in my opinion. Washington, there's no such thing, but there's very few casual fans that come sit out there all day just to watch track. Most of
No,
the people have a vested interest in what's going on.
that's right. And I think one of the balls that our sport, especially at the collegiate level, continues to drop is we fall for this unproven, undocumented idea that if you package it like a team sport with a ball, more people will care and more people will pay attention. We've been trying that forever. I don't see any evidence for that, but I will throw this one in at the end. Last I checked, in the majority of the states in this country, there are organized mechanisms where you, the fan, can gamble on a football game or a basketball game or a horse race. Well, we are human horse racing. Why can't we gamble on track and field NCAA finals? You want more people paying attention? You want more people invested? Figure out an organized gambling mechanism on track and field. You'll get more viewership and more people paying attention. You can even bet on who wins the team title, but the last 50 years of push the team narrative, there's just no evidence that it makes anybody care.
I mean, it doesn't make the average person care, but it's always going to make the person that has a vested interest. If your child is involved in the meet and on a team, they care. I think the narrative for that gets more exciting as the meet comes to a close, right?
Oh yeah,
when you're lining up for the 5K and the 200 and the 5K and the 4x4, it becomes very, very much a big deal at that point.
And I think, to your point, like that's how I would package it. If I was running the show, I would tell all the stories about all the characters along the way of the meet until the last 30 minutes of the meet, because that's when the team title is truly on display. But I'm not starting the coverage showing the 200 from the NCAA team title perspective, and then giving you like cut-ups of like what Anna Hall did the last 2 days. Like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that, like, I don't think any of us disagree if San Jose State, KST, and Florida were somehow in the running to win the championship against each other. Obviously, you have to cover the narrative of that, but not at the expense of finding out how big a jump was, or why do I have to not see the shot put because you want to talk about an event that hasn't even taken place yet. That's the issue.
One of the things that the general public had stolen from them last year was the entire chirping of Turner Washington, and Turner Washington responding and running over to the fans and tearing his jersey off, and then almost getting DQ'd. Like, that story was worthy of being on television.
Oh, that was must-see TV. Luckily, we were in person.
That was must-see TV.
Yes.
See, and then even things like Jaden Hibbert, right? Like, you got to find a way to cut live to that. He's going to go something crazy. Like, you got to cut live to Jasmine. It just has to happen.
Right.
And so, then she gets this blip during the 5K. Oh, this happened 3 hours ago, right? So,
and because Texas's men weren't in the team title for a trophy, we don't get to find out that Leo Neugebauer went absolutely batshit crazy for 2 days.
Yeah.
Huh? That they should have opened the telecast with that.
Absolutely.
That was absolutely insanity.
Jaden Hibbert will not be in the NCAA much longer. And he held 2/3 of the stadium in the palm of his hand every time he stood up.
Yep.
I don't think they showed not one jump live.
They did not. Okay. So let's talk NFL quarterbacks. Okay, so when people talk about the best quarterback in the league, there's always talk about our boy Patty Mahomes and Josh Allen and etc. So what do we think about the young crop of Jalen Hurts, Joey Burrow, Tua, you know, that group. How are they measuring up now, and how do you see them measuring up with this elite group in the future? Yeah, this is your turn to go first.
I was 100% wrong about Jalen Hurts, even though I've always rooted for him. I didn't think Jalen Hurts. Well, let's back this up. When Jalen Hurts came out of Oklahoma after transferring out to Alabama, and was drafted as a QB, he did not have the skill set to be a starting quarterback, throwing the football. I did not think that he would be able to get there. And I was wrong. He has grinded in that space, made himself infinitely better as a passer, and still kept the other skills that make him overall extremely valuable to his team. And he earned, running that program in Philadelphia. So I was way, way wrong on Jalen Hurts. And I've always been a fan of the dude because he is a grinder and he's an underdog, and I root for those kind of people. I'm not going to call him an elite quarterback, but he's like, he can do this job. And there's a distinction there. There's a difference there, right? Like, some things people just have. The way Patrick Mahomes throws a football, he just has. Josh Allen's arm talent, he just has, right? You can train or coach people out of making stupid decisions. Jalen Hurts has other skill sets. Lamar Jackson has other skill sets. And I think that a lot of people, for a lot of different reasons, are uncomfortable with outside the box players and the evolution that's going on at that particular position. Yes, some of that is racial, but some of it is just palate, right? You grew up and always thought about quarterbacks playing a certain way, and now they have the freedom and the space to play a different way. The music is changing, if you will, and a lot of people are uncomfortable with that. But I do think that Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow is a little bit more traditional, right? But he can run some. I think they're all having an enormous impact on how people view the position. And that is ultimately what's really cool. I don't understand anybody who looks at those players and then looks at Dak Prescott, for example, and sees an even measuring stick, because some people just can't play at that level.
Okay. Governor?
I mean, as far as a young QB and, what he's done in his career so far, I have to go with Joe Burrow. I mean, he is unflappable. I mean, it's almost like he loves pressure. Like, you throw it at me, I'm coming right back at you. And you take the injuries out of the equation, and I don't have any doubts that he can will the Bengals back into a playoff situation. They've won 4 in a row now. And I mean, I think they're going to be a team you're going to have to contend with no matter what. But, I've been very impressed with him, somewhat begrudgingly, because I am a big Patrick Mahomes fan. But you cannot discount what Joe Burrow has done in a very short period of time. So that's my answer.
All right. Early and often.
I think I want to start with this. I think that the quarterback position in the NFL has never been healthier or better than it is right now. There are more elite level quarterbacks in the NFL than there ever have been, as a whole. And the young crew, which would also include Trevor Lawrence. What I like is it used to be you had to be these things to be a quarterback. And now what you have to be is you have to be a master of the skill set you have and be able to make that into winning football, right? Like Lamar's playbook probably can't be run by any other human being except maybe Jalen Hurts, but probably not because he's not actually fast enough, right? And and so on, right? Like Joe Burrow's playbook can be run by everybody, but 99% of the people in the league would not be as successful because you have to be willing to let people get this close to you to make those dot throws to his elite level receivers, right? Because his offensive line is so bad. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I'll just say this. I think that from the young crew, quote unquote, because I think Patrick Mahomes is still in that damn crew. He just is really, really, really good. I love Joe Burrow and what he does. But I think when it's all said and done, if you consider where they went, what weapons they have, who is coaching them, and what they're doing with it, I don't think anybody in the young crew is doing a better job than Trevor Lawrence. Because Trevor Lawrence doesn't have a number one receiver. He has two number twos, and they make that work. He has an elite level running back for sure. Like he's got a solid offensive line, but not a great one. But he's asked on a regular basis to carry the team for a quarter of the game. Let's be clear, all the elite quarterbacks are asked to do that, right? But of the young crew, he's the only one that doesn't have multiple top level people to throw the football to, right? He's got weapons comparable to what Patrick Mahomes has, right?
Who's this?
Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like Trevor Lawrence's crew of receivers is comparable to what Patrick Mahomes has. He has to make them be really good. Right? He doesn't have Cheetah anymore, right? He doesn't, and Trevor Lawrence never had one of those. So, like, look, Joe Burrow is nasty. I will never, ever, ever discount him. But I will say this: if you're throwing to
T. Higgins,
if you're throwing to Tyler Boyd as your number 3 option, right? T. Higgins is your 2 option. Jamar Chase is your number 1 option, and you have Joe Mixon who can catch the ball out of the backfield, right? Like at least you got places to go with the football.
right?
That's all I'm saying, right? And so like I'm not trying to say necessarily that Trevor Lawrence is better than Joe Burrow, but I will say he is asked to do more with less and being held at the same level of accountability by all of us because he's an elite quarterbacking talent. So you asked me who I would pick Trevor Lawrence only because of him thus far having to do more with less.
Now, to the do more with less problem, currently there is no quarterback that is asked to do more with less than Josh Allen.
That's so not true.
Oh, there is no O-line. There is no running backs. And he just recently got Stephon Diggs.
He's had Stephon Diggs for 2 years. He might be the best wide receiver in the NFL.
He's not the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Okay, I didn't say he is, but what I'm saying is like statistically, he's top 3.
Yes.
Okay, so what we're not going to do is change the topic. It was not the topic, gentlemen. The topic is that again, it's opinion based, right? That's early and often's opinion. It's your opinion. So my opinion is that I think that what you're seeing with the NFL, a lot has to do based on the offensive coordinators that these guys are playing for, and the ones that have offensive coordinators that set up a system based on the skill set of not just the quarterback, but all the other, things that you guys mentioned. I think that Tua's playing out of his mind because he has incredible, tools. But they also had to build the system. And I mean, if anybody watch them play, they're a lot like Kansas City. So clearly Cheetah went in there It taught him some things, right?
Mm.
Joe
Mike
Burrow's
McDaniel
just,
went in there and taught him some things.
yeah, or whoever, but they're a lot like Kansas City. But at the end of the day, for me, Joe Burrow just he's cool as a fan. Like nothing rattles him. He does have good receivers, and just because you have good receivers, you still got to give him the ball. Right?
Facts.
His old line isn't elite. It's good. It's not great. But at the end of the day, what I see in all of this is that we have good coaching going along with these quarterbacks because they're putting the quarterbacks in position to be successful. What Trevor Lawrence is doing in Jacksonville is shocking to everybody, probably even Trevor himself, because that's not a great football team in terms of talent. So there's some coaching going there, and there's a lot of good hard work being put in by that crew down there. They've been very impressive. Very impressive.
I will say this. That's one of the reasons why my man in San Diego definitely gets a bump from a skill level perspective, because he has the worst coaching by far.
Yeah.
Like there's no question about that, right? Like he's got some weapons around him, but the people calling the plays are the most inferior of the group. Like at the top 10 quarterbacks in all of NFL football, he has the worst group of people coaching him for sure. Like today, I heard someone talking about the Patriots trading Bill Belichick to the Chargers for a player, and I was like, they should do that. They should do that.
All right. Okay. All right. It's question and answer time, and KOP, it's your turn.
About damn time.
All right. So your childhood celebrity crush.
Jada Pinkett.
Okay.
Wasn't even close.
Biggest risk you ever took.
Personally or professionally?
Risk. Your choice.
Becoming a father.
Best compliment you have ever got.
That I'm good at being a father.
Worst piece of advice you've ever got.
That my career in this profession will never amount to anything if I am not married or Christian.
Who would you like to be stranded on a desert island with?
Oh, Tiana Madison. Yeah, we getting off the island.
Person you would trade places with for a day.
Ooh. That's really hard. Do they have to be alive?
Yep. Because if you're going to trade with somebody that's dead, then you're going to be dead.
Okay. I was thinking historically. All right.
If it's nobody, just say nobody.
No, it's man, that's really, really, really hard. Denzel Washington.
What never fails to make you laugh?
The baby.
Tell us something we don't know about you.
This is still a relatively PG show, right? Something people do not know about me. I'm sorry, my brain is 4:00 in the morning. I think that a lot of people mistake my bluntness for that I don't care. And those are two very, very different situations and trains of thought. I am often accused of being uncaring when I actually care a lot. But I'm just going, doesn't mean I'm going to tell you what you want to hear.
Okay. Guilty pleasure.
Drinking
Guilty pleasure.
Pellegrino.
No. Guilty pleasure. Din Tai Fung spicy wontons. I will
Something
eat
you
like 5
wish.
orders.
Something you wish you were better at.
Listening. Oh wait, sorry.
Not at all. I listen extremely well. You can't be petty or make good arguments if you don't listen. Something I wish I was better at. I wish I was a better reader, actually. I read very slow.
Okay. It's one person who is no longer with us that you would like to spend 60 minutes with.
Prince.
Okay. And this last one's going to be for everybody. You get 3 weeks to
I
go
didn't get
spend.
everybody question.
Excuse me? Yes, you did.
No, we didn't, but go ahead.
Yes, you did. The one person does not with us for 60 minutes. Everybody got that question last week?
All right,
Possible.
what you got?
Well, okay. Well, last week that question was for the EP and the governor. Now this week, because it's the first time, it's for you and them. Let me do this. You ready? You get 3 weeks to go spend with any coach on the planet, a track and field coach. Who do you want to go learn from? 3 weeks.
Y'all see how he set this up, right?
Look, why? Like, I didn't set anything up. Just answer the question.
My current chosen profession is the NCAA system, and if I'm gonna go spend 3 weeks around anybody, you go spend it around the GOAT. You are the GOAT. So if you just wanted us to say
you try to accuse
you could just say that.
See, first
It
of
would be
all, if you
I'd
know
be in
me,
Gainesville
so then
with
we're
Michael
going to do
Dwayne
this.
Holloway.
You can go anywhere but Gainesville. Where you going?
Oh,
That
now
solves that
okay.
Oh, now you want to change the question.
So now we're
because
gonna
you
have
tried to
secondary.
because
We got
so
the
you
secondary
got
mission.
petty. So I
I mean
tried to be
that
petty
is what
along
I
with
do.
you. Exactly. So
now I have to go spend time with lesser people.
Right. That's what I'm
with
saying.
someone else.
Why are you penalizing us because Chuck wants to be petty?
Oh gosh.
Come on, guys.
I mean, my answer was a legitimate answer.
Okay. That's your answer. Does anybody else have a different answer than that?
No.
I mean, I'm gonna give a different answer just to be different.
I appreciate that.
Because I'm not going to do an answer that has anything to do with at all with track. If my answer involves track, then no, I don't have a different answer either.
No, it's to get better at track. That's what it said. That was a question.
You know what? But I don't need to talk to track people to get better at track.
Oh,
I would go spend a week. No, I'm being serious.
I understand that perspective. I do. I get that.
Like what I'm saying is like to sometimes to be a better coach, you don't necessarily have to learn from somebody who coaches your sport. That's my point. I wasn't trying to be an arrogant jack.
Yeah, I totally get that.
I would go spend a week with Mike Tomlin because I'm not a Steeler fan at all. Never have been. And I guess I did when I was a little kid. I used to like them. But every time I hear Mike Tomlin talk, I feel like I would take my 53-year-old broken body out there and play for that dude and risk my life. And I want to know how he continues to produce a winning product at Pittsburgh without the things you have to win in professional football. So to me, there's coaching going on there, and there's leadership going on there that I feel like I could learn from. So I would go spend a week with Mike Tomlin. Plus, I'm pretty sure it will be fun.
The governor?
I would love to know how Frano does it. I just, and I've seen him at work. I've watched him, from a distance, but I'd love to spend 3 weeks just kind of soaking it all in. And I have a feeling I know what the secret sauce is, but I'd love to see it for myself.
Well, I'm going to come down there and hang out with you and Frano because I want to know what Frano does as well. I'm not looking for any secret sauce. I don't know what that's all about. But
can I say this for real? Like no, all jokes aside, obviously we all picked you for a really good reason. But I think what people really should get from this is you should probably consider what he's saying. You should try to figure out how to spend 2 to 5 to 7 days learning from someone legitimately. Don't go to hang out, right? Like go to learn and ask real questions and get better at your craft, because it is a craft and there's an art to it. And if I had the chance to sit down with you or anybody else, most of my questions are going to be about buy-in, right? Like, how do you get, secure, and keep buy-in? Because athletes have changed a lot in the last 3 decades. But what happens in Gainesville has been happening for a long time. Right.
Absolutely.
So there is a consistency of buy-in that I think is really the, so to speak, secret sauce, right? And so if I was going to ask the tough questions, I would ask questions in relation to that.
Well, I appreciate your honesty, and I also appreciate the compliment, sir. Thank you very much. All right, well, that does it for this week's LLC. We wish you a happy 7 days until we gather again. We will try to behave ourselves over the next 7 days. I know at least I will. I can't speak for everybody on these tiles, but
I can tell you that I'm not even going to try.
We wish everybody
at 5 o'clock in the morning. So no.
Yeah, we wish everybody well over the next 7 days, and we will see you in a week to chop it up once again. Everybody be good.
When the lights come on, the road just get to running. When the lights come on, opponents smash the plumbing. Heard you like it warm, hot, knife the butter. Truth hit them hard, knock them off that rebuttal. Tsunami, tidal wave to your puddle. Tough love, punch you in the arms, little brothers. Athletics LLC, there's no others. Track and field's place to appeal to go further. Hey, Wile E. Coyote, it's road runners. Feels like you know us, you've been with us the whole summer. If not for this quarantine, these 4 corners wouldn't be here, but we here, so start learning. You gotta earn your stripes, gotta get your scars. Show you how to fight, but show us who you are. You lack experience, but still you wanna talk. And who is actually talking to you? Circle's kinda small. Heads prevail when the backbone's strong. Gotta keep it coming, no, it won't last long. Pass and fail, then sell the sad song. And if you don't check yourself, then that's wrong. Just trying to give you the real that you asked for. So why you keep cutting us off to ask more? We put it in slow-mo, but you fast forward. Athletics LLC, the task force.